All right, we are going live. Let's see if we are live yet. I think when we hear, I'm just getting a few sound checks. So if you guys are just joining in, we're going to be doing some Ableton Live backing track tutorial stuff. But I got to check some things, see if everything's working out. Hold on, I got to listen to some audio. See if everything's working out. Sounds all right. Hold on, I gotta listen to some audio. I'm listening to some TikTok.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
TikTok. A little bit of feedback going on there.
Drums in.
All right, cool. Let's see if we got it going on YouTube. I'm just gonna ask my partner in crime. Is it going on YouTube? And what about Facebook? Hold on. We'll get this rolling in a second. So if you're just joining us, what we're doing is we're going to do some Ableton Live tutorials, backing tracks. And I know on TikTok, you're going to have to hold the phone sideways. Yeah.
Yes, on Facebook. On TikTok, you're vertical.
I know. That's what I just said. You have to hold the phone sideways.
Oh, you have to hold this. Oh, yeah.
So if you're on TikTok, you have to hold the phone sideways to see all this stuff because I couldn't fit it all in that small screen. And also, if I could show you how I have this going, I actually have, you're looking on TikTok at a big TV screen with a phone on a stand. So yeah, that's kind of funny. And all right, so there's Mike. Mike just commented on the other platform. Mike, what's up? Yes, and Alicia just commented back on YouTube. All right, so it looks like we got it going. So listen, if you guys don't know much about us, not only are we in a band called Fans Jimmy Century, an amazing band, especially the guitar player, bass player / keyboardist, producer guy. That would be me. And then of course there's Alicia. She's all right. She's pretty cool. I mean, she's got, the girl thing, the butt, all that stuff. So yes, that's amazing. We like that. Oh, and there is Mr. Long. Mr. Long, what's up? Long time, Mr. Long. See what's happening over on TikTok. Oh, thank you for sharing the live video over on TikTok. And so anyhow, listen, besides Fans Jimmy Century, the band we play in, we actually also make backing tracks for bands all over the world in Ableton, and we design whole live sets for them in Ableton. And Ableton is a great DAW for that because not only will it actually run your tracks, and the way we have them set up, you can mute certain things. So if a keyboardist don't show up, you can unmute the keyboardist, or if a keyboardist is there and he's just not very good, you can just turn him down live and have him there. The drummer don't show up, you can mute the drums. You can have percussion going or not. You can have backup vocals going or not, or whatever. But also with Ableton, you can also run with MIDI. You can, like when we run our show not only runs any kind of loops or tracks or samples and like that stuff that we're running, but it's also running like my guitar pedal board. I don't touch it. Like if you see me, I'm cruising on the stage, and you might hear a clean signal on the guitar, and then a distorted signal on the guitar, and then the lead tone will kick in, and also I'll be the wah will be going while I'm doing a lead, but I'm not actually touching my guitar pedal board because I already have it pre-programmed into Ableton, and it runs my whole guitar pedal board for me, and I don't have to worry about that. And also videos, like when we play big places and we have big video screens behind us or whatever, and they're all synced up to the music. That's not some little guy. That's actually already in Ableton, and they're putting the videos over there. And the lyric screens, if we don't, but a lot of bands, they'll put lyric screens in Ableton, and that way when they're performing live, they have lyrics going up on the stage. If you've been to like Guns N' Roses and that kind of stuff, you see those lyric screens. I don't know if they run Ableton, but that's basically what Ableton will do. Will run that up there. And And so, and also runs all of our light show. So anything with DMX that's going off, all the special lighting and the little effects lighting, and also smoke, and also when we have the little flash pod, sparkly pod things, those will also, Ableton's running all that stuff. And so every Wednesday I'm going to try, unless we're doing something like, I know in a few weeks we're going to the Grammys, so I won't be able to do it with that Wednesday, but I'm going to be doing a live stream for like an hour or so of how to and different tricks and that kind of stuff. But anyhow, I'm going to get a drink of water, and then we'll go from here. But we also have a website called bandbackingtrackscustom.com, where we you can buy these already pre-made, and we just send them to you, and then you might tweak them a little bit, but they're pretty much set up kind of like how this is set up right here. So these are cover bands, like there's Uptown Funk and Faith and September and Rude and that kind of stuff. Right now we have about 2,000 already made, and we have access to about 70,000 stems that we can throw into Ableton and put the click and the cue. So when we set them up, you have a click and a cue track. So here's your click and here's your cue. Let's see what's going on over here. Cool. And so and then we have all your stems here. So I have these marked as other, just because there could be something, an extra guitar part or whatever, and then drums or other. If there's not drums, we might throw something else in there: percussion, bass, keyboards, horns, other, guitar, backing vocals, lead vocals, guitar, and you can keep adding tracks over here, and there's another other there. But if you actually got sets from our website, that's how they're going to come, and then you want to keep them that way. If you want to add any other tracks, you can add them this way, going off of this track, because that way you can just keep pasting them in. Long explanation, but if you look at our tutorial page, it'll show you how. But I'll kind of play some of these real quick. I'll play, like, I'm muting some of the tracks so I don't get a bunch of copyright infringements. So, but I'll kind of like here, I'll play Uptown Funk. So you can hear a click come in.
Intro, breakdown, 3, 4.
And we give you the cue, so you can't mess it up. There's an intro, breakdown, 3, 4, and then right now I have like keyboards muted. So if I unmute the keyboards, you can hear them kind of building.
Verse 2,
And I have
3,
the horns
4.
muted a little bit, and I have the backing vocals and vocals muted. So if I unmute those, so if I unmute everything, I'll do it real quick. So anyhow, I'm gonna mute some of these so we don't get so many copyrights. Well, I just show you how to manipulate them. And this is muted. If the yellow's not on, that means it's muted.
Breakdown.
If it's
2,
on,
3,
that means
4.
it's unmuted. It's kind of backwards. It seems like it should be the other way. So anyhow, like I said, you have to click in the queue.
Build 2,
And what we
3,
do is
4.
when we're running these to you guys, so the band, I'm sorry, when the band's getting these, the click and the cue don't come out the mains. What you do is, as a rule, with Ableton, you can actually route these to different areas. So like what sound card I have right now is I have an XAir 18 in here. So if I go up to, on Ableton, if I go up to File and Properties and go over to my XAir, the first thing you want to do is have a sound card that has more than 2 outputs, and not really want to use the headphone output of your laptop. I'm sorry, I'm looking at comments at the same time, because then you can use your headphone, but you'd be splitting like the music out one side and the click and the cue out the left side, and it's just kind of cheesy. So just get something like the XAir, or even let me grab this one over here. Sorry about that. My headphones back on. So even like this right here, this is a little Behringer, little 4-channel Behringer, and if you look back here, it's got 4 outs and 4 inputs, 2 here and then two back here. It's kind of cheesy. But with the 4 outs, like you can have, you can have your right, left to your main, and then one of these outs with your click and your cue to it. But and these things are cheap, and they're really good because you get the Behringer that with a Midas pre's. They're really good preamps because they actually are Midas pre's. Even though they say Midas design, they're actually the same thing. But anyhow, I digress. So anyhow, we run on the XR18 mixing board, which has like 18 ins and I think I can't remember how many outs. We can look and see. It has 18 outs. Okay. So anyhow, and so what you go in here and you make sure all these are yellow. That way you have access to all your ins and outs in whichever sound card you're using. If you're using a sound card like this, you're only going to see 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 18, so I'm going to see 18. And then, so you make sure it's all highlighted on the outs, and it's all highlighted on the, click OK, go over to outputs. They're all highlighted, and on the inputs. Okay, so now you have access to them. So what I've done here is, so with the click and the cue, for people who have less, not as many outs as I have, I've actually put them to a send. So you can see where this says send only, that's going over to this click send. So instead of having to actually go through here and move these to a channel, you can actually just move this one mix. So this basically, these two are being submixed by this channel. And if you get tracks from us, this is what it looks like. And then all you have to do is go over here and turn this to external out, and I'll put the click and the cue. I can put that on, say I want that to come out track 18, and then I'll send 18 click to our drummer. I hope that makes sense. So you have tracks 1 and 2, which has the music coming out. That's going through our mixing board at 1 and 2. And if you have say if a sound card with 3 and 4, you'd put the click on like 4, or 3, and that would put that click and cue coming out of the out of 4. So okay, so you'd send that to your drummer for a click and a cue track, or to your sound guy, and he could reroute it back to your drum guy with in the headphone mix. And let's see what's going on over here. Follow. Cool. Thank you guys for following us over there on TikTok. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And super chats always help, and gifts to get those questions answered. Anyhow, so now that we have that set up, so we have the click and the cue going out a different auxiliary send, and we have the main music going out 1 and 2. I mean, you can actually go over here and see how I have the drums going out, to master, all the way down. So what that master is doing is sending us over to this main bus, which basically it's your main out. So I have main out going out 1 and 2. I can also have that going out anything else. So if I have, I have 18 outs, I can also, reroute that to 17, 18. But I like it out 1 and 2 because it just makes it easier if I change sound cards. But you can also, if you have a big enough soundboard and you want your sound guy to have access to, say, the backup vocals and the keyboards, you can actually go over here and change the master to external out, and say, we'll send the backing vocals through mixing channel 3. And on the XR, you have to go into the app and click USB in there, which that's a whole different story. But so now 3, so his on his mixing board on channel 3, he'd have backing vocals, or channel 18, or whatever channel I choose to put that from. But to make things simple, I'm just going to keep those master out and just keep everything going out 1 and 2, and assuming that's good enough mix. And then what you can do from here, if you're playing live in this screen, you have 2 screens enabled, and you have this screen. And if you hit the tab key, it'll switch you over to this screen. Now this is the screen that us as a band usually play on, because you can hit go and it'll just play the whole show without having to stop, and you can put stop marker points in there. And we'll get into that in later days, but not today. Right now we're just kind of going over basics. So anyhow, but on this screen, so if you're playing on this screen, it's pretty cool. I mean, you can just, click the first track, second track. You can also go up here and hit MIDI, and if you have a MIDI controller, and we'll get into this in another day, when I have another camera that show a MIDI controller, you can actually map this. So say if you have a MIDI keyboard, you can hit MIDI up here, click on say the first song and click on number 1 on your controller, and then click on the next song and click on number 2 on your controller, and then you don't even touch your keyboard. You can just hit your controller and it'll fire these off. But we're not going into that today, just kind of showing you that. But if you are playing this screen and you're doing tracks in this screen, one thing that's a big mistake that people do is if they have a bunch of songs, they'll go through here and they'll start mixing their tracks. Let me turn these tracks back on. So they'll get in with their band and they'll start mixing. They'll come in here and say, okay, I don't need drums, so I'll turn the drums down, and I want backing vocals a little bit less on this song, and guitar a little bit less on this song. But then when you go and you play, say, Faith, which is the next song down, well, now maybe you need the backup vocals a little higher, and also this guitar, you actually want it full blast because your guitar player just can't pull those guitar parts off. But now you have to go back in here and manually remix these again using these little mix faders. So good rule of thumb is just never, ever, ever touch those mix faders. If you are doing your tracks on this screen again, then what you do is you would actually just play your song, figure out, okay, I don't want, I don't need this guitar part at all. I'm not going to go over here and mute this because I might need this song's guitar part, or I might need this song's guitar part. So I just want to mute this one guitar stem, because what you're seeing here are wave files. So if I double click on it, you can see the wave file of the drums. If I double click on that, you can see the wave file of the percussion, wave file of the bass, wave file of the keyboard, and each song. So this is the wave file of Uptown Funk horns. But if I click on here, this is the wave file of Faith horns or guitar or something. I hope that makes sense. So, and that goes the same when you're mixing. So anything you want to do is you don't want to mess with any of this stuff down here. I just leave it all on regardless. And then so up here, like say we're starting on Uptown Funk, and we're playing Uptown Funk, but we don't want backup. We don't want the lead vocals for sure. So you do just click on that wave file that right there, little sample, and hit 0 on your keyboard. And now that basically turns that whole sample off until you hit 0 again, and it'll turn it back on. But just hit 0 on your keyboard. Say you don't want this guitar at all, none of it. You just hit 0 on your keyboard. And say, you don't want your drummer, so you hit 0 on your keyboard. And, for this one, we're going to say we don't want backup vocals because that way we won't get copyright infringements. So, okay, so now all we're going to have is percussion, bass, keyboards, and some horns. And then I'm going to hit play. You're going to hear the click because the click is still going through a different sound card. Actually, no, I didn't turn this one off. So you hear the percussion and the pad going, but everything else is off. But now say, okay, on this particular song, I need that keyboard to come up a little more. Instead of coming down here and touching this volume knob, what you do is just double click on this keyboard. So you want this keyboard right here to come up a little more in volume just for this song. So you just double click on that keyboard and just bring this gain up right here. You can see that's changing changing the, that's one way. You can also go in here, and if you want, you can actually change the filter. So if I go over here and click on this little draw button, and then I go over to filters, sorry, this is Ableton 11, and can't remember where the filters are at. The envelope filters are. Hold on, I'll find them. Come on. Hold on, sorry. Where are my filters? Oh, there they are, envelopes. So I can go, okay, clip right here. It says clip gain. I can change that to, transpose if I want to transpose or whatever like that, but I'm going to use it to gain. So I can actually go through here on the envelope filter, and I'll go, actually, I'm gonna switch to mixer for this clip, and I'm gonna go to volume, track volume. Now I can actually go through here and automate that keyboard's track volume of just this one clip right here. That's all I'm automating. So now if we go back and play that again, wait for it, it's building. Cool, we got a bunch of follows over on, oh, thank you for the gift over there on TikTok. Get a drink of water. But now if you watch this volume fader right here on keyboard, turned red and now it's moving by itself. After it gets into the song, I can't really fast forward, so just bear with me. Mike's still over there, absolutely. So see, you can see the volume is starting to go up from the automation that I just drew in there from that one clip. And then keep watching that volume. I'll come back to the next one. And just drop down. Dropping down more if I want to. I can actually drop this way down to nothing. Watch that. See? Brought that way down. Brought it back up. So anyhow, yeah, so you can actually mix it that way too. So you wait. The best way to mix these things is to get in a room with your band and kind of, you know, get a mix set where you like with one song and then go through and just mix them, boom, boom, boom. Most from when we send them to you are pretty much there anyhow. But you might have a little bit of tweaking. But this is if you're putting your own stems in a session. You know, you basically see how to mute your stems and also mix them a little bit just from here. But yeah, don't touch any of this stuff down here. Just leave it all alone and leave it all on, because you might need something else on, and you can't really automate these on and off. I mean, you can, but you have to use MIDI clips, and it's a pain in the butt. Excuse me while I open my other drink. This has a little bit of... All right. So, oh, that's nasty as heck. Anyhow, let's see. Let's go see what's going on here as far as the comments. If any of you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them out to me. And Billy C1225 shared our link over on TikTok. Thank you, Billy. And all right, and so anyhow, so I regress. Let's see where I'm at. Okay, so that's basically, excuse me, how you'd mix from this screen. But like I said, that this isn't how we play live. I'll show you how our live set is. Let me come over here and open up one of our actual sets. I'm not going to save that. Okay, so this is one of our band's actual live sets. So you can see when we kick off, you know, we're my stuff's all set up from, excuse me, MIDI controllers, and we actually do them a lot different. So like if you look down here, I have each song that is actually, like, here's Blonde Ambition. There's all the stems for Blonde Ambition. And if we go down a little further, here's all the stems for that. And this is another way of doing it. It's a little more time consuming to set up, but actually works a lot better live. And I'll get into that in other tutorial, on other live streams, because this is actually a lot of work, and we'd be here for more than 1 hour just getting the basics down. But if you can see right here, like, so if you see our set, when we kick it off, so it starts off, there's some, you know, motorcycles, there's dancers out there doing this stuff and, you know, wiggling their tail around and that kind of stuff. And let's see. Then I'll go in. And like right now, you can actually hear the drums, but that's for me to practice with. If I go here and I actually have the drums. This is my XR 18, board we're looking at. So I have our backing tracks drums going through here, so I can turn them up and down. So if I'm practicing, or if me and Alicia are doing like a duo set, and then Mike, our drummer, if he's playing electronic kit, his electronic kit comes through here. Or if he's playing a live kit, then the house has control over that. But anyhow, so when we get to the next song, if you look right here at the tempo, this tempo for this song is 93. And I'm gonna let it play out. When it gets to the next song, it's automatically gonna switch that tempo. So now we just switch that tempo to 130. Now mind you, this is also running all of our lights in our videos. Turn it down over here. This is running all of our lights in our videos, and also controlling all my guitar pedal boards and at the same time. So yeah, and then when it gets to the end of this track right here, if you notice, this little green arrow right here should have stopped. Oh, I don't have my MIDI controller hooked up. If my MIDI controller was hooked up, it actually would have stopped right there on its own. And then I would have to fire this next song right here. And then I have loop points too in some of these songs. Right, I don't know where they're at right now, but basically when it hits a certain marker, it'll just sit there and just keep looping back and forth until I have a little foot switch that tells it to stop looping. So that way when we come in there and I think Mike's doing a drum intro, and it just sit there and just keep looping that drum intro, and Alicia will talk and the dancers will wiggle around and all that kind of stuff until I hit the stop loop. And I actually do that several times. I actually do there, and also have an extended guitar solo that I just keep wailing away while Alicia and the dancers are out changing their wardrobe. So anyhow, I'll kind of get in and show you how that all works, not all in one night, but over the course of time. But let me go back over here to this, and I'll kind of show you basically how to set your songs in this screen, and so it automatically changes tempos, and we'll at least get that far tonight. So I'm going to click Not Save. Hope this is helping some of you out there. I'm not seeing very many comments or questions, so you must be getting the whole thing without any questions asked. But I do see a lot of people following us over there on TikTok, so that is sweet. Thank you guys for and sharing and following. That's always nice. And again, on TikTok, if you're watching this, you got to be sideways. Just turn your phone sideways, because it just doesn't work right trying to show the whole screen. And after I get done, I'll show you how I have this set up on TikTok, because I have a phone. I don't even know if I can get this camera to go over there. No, I can't. Anyhow, I have a phone on a stand facing a big TV screen. So I'll reach over here and move the TV screen. So I just moved the TV screen on TikTok. So if you're watching on TikTok, you'll see it, but it's facing a big TV screen. Anyhow, okay. So this set's called back up. So say if we want to move this set over, or these kind of songs over to the other screen, so it's actually just so your set just plays, and also you can edit some of the songs, you can do all that kind of stuff over on the other screen, which you can't do on this. It's really easy. First off, what you want to do is just kind of click on your first song. Like say we want our first song on that next screen is going to be Uptown Funk. So I'm going to just click on it, so it'll set my tempo, and it'll also tell all these samples right here what tempo this song is going to play at, and I'll show you why in a second. So then you click on the furthest track over here that has a sample in it, which is lead vocals. Hold down Shift on your keyboard, and then hold down the furthest track on this side. I'm not taking this one, but I'll take that one. So yeah, hold your mouse here, click down, hold Shift, and then come over to like count in on this one on my screen, and click, and now it just highlighted all these. So now if you come back over to count in and just hold your finger down on the mouse, don't let up again, otherwise it'll turn everything unblue, and then hit the tab key, it'll drag them all over into the screen. and then just drop it where you want it. So I'm going to drop it right here. Actually, I got to do that again. Hold on 1 second. I had some other stuff in there. So let me go over here and wipe that out. Make sure nothing else is there. All right, so I'm going to roll back up here so I can see my count in, because these tracks right here are going to coincide with all of these tracks over here. So you're going to see, you know, count in, click, others, blah, 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 blah. And if you go up here, up at the top, you know, you can see MIDI, click, count in, click, blah, 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 blah. So when you grab those, you want to drop them back on the exact same line. So we're going to go and we're going to grab them from count in, and we're going to drop them back over here on count in. So I'll hit the tab key, or you can hit this little button here, but because we're going to be moving tracks, we're going to hit the tab key. Tab key will move it back and forth. So we're going to come over here. Again, I'm going to click on vocals, hold down shift, hold down count in, while shift is still being held down, so it highlights all those, and then take my finger off of shift, and then just hold the mouse right down on the count in and keep it held. Don't pick it back up, and then hit shift or hit tab key, and that'll flip screens, and then you just drag that, and I'm going to drag that right back down. So there's count in. So I'm going to find where I want it in the timeline, and I'm going to put it in there and let go. Now you can see these are kind of grayed out, so you got to hit this little orange thingamajig play button, and that'll activate this side. And then while these are all highlighted still, if you click one of them, it's going to unhighlight them all. So then just click the top one again, and then scroll down the bottom, hold down shift, and click the bottom one, and it'll highlight them all so you can move them all at the same time. So I'm going to move it to where the grid starts up at. So now I got the first song over here on this timeline. And if I click on it, because I already have, I've already clicked Uptown Funk, you can see that it tells you the BPM there, BPM. So if I click on there, it's the BPM right here. It's 115. If I click on George Michael's, it just changes the BPM to 192. And this is 126. If I click on that, it's 126. But now, because this is 126 and it should be 115, if I hit tab and I even unhighlight that, see that the BPM is still 126. So if I play this back, it's going to be playing it back at the wrong speed.
Intro, breakdown, 3, 4.
So what you want to do is you want to be able to automate your tempo on this screen. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. So that's one of the first steps that you need to do if you're going to play a whole set on this screen. So what we'll do is I'm gonna copy this click track. I'm not going to copy like that. I'm going to go up here to create, and I'm going to click new audio track. And my audio tracks say video for some reason, because we put video in there last time I did this. Yours will say audio track. And I'm going to right click or 2-finger click on a mouse and on a Mac, and I'm going to rename this to tempo or temp or tempo, whatever you want to do, just so I know what that is. And then I'm just going to move that out of the way, so I'll move it up there. So now, even though I have a click here and a tempo here, I just move that new track out of the way. If I go back over and hit tab key, you're going to see that tempo track over here too, because like I said, this screen coincides with the other screen. So I'm going to go back and hit tab, and let me look over here and see if we have any questions. How is your CPU usage so... Hold on, let me read this. How is your CPU usage so low? Mine runs about 20%. Well, that's a good question. On this MacBook, this is the new M1, but even on my 2012, it's got 4 cores and 16 gigs RAM. It still stays pretty low because I try to keep plugins out, so I don't have that many plugins going. It's mainly all just audio files and MIDI tracks that are just triggering stuff. There's a few plugins here and there, but they don't take up much CPU. But if you're just running audio files, it doesn't take up any CPU at all. All my any kind of compression, that kind of stuff, I'm running through the mixer. So that's why my XR18, if I look over here on the music where it's coming through, you can see my compressors on and limiter and that kind of stuff. So I try to keep it off of Ableton. But also the M1s and the new Ableton 11 really run good together. But even, like I said, even the 2012 quad core with 16 gigs of RAM, you know, if you're not running too many plugins and you keep everything audio files, your CPU hardly touches your CPU. Even when you're running videos, it doesn't really touch your CPU. Hope that answers your question. Anyhow, so back on this thing. So what we want to do is we want to automate our tempo. And I have a few other tutorials back when I was using Ableton 10 that showed you a really hard way of automating your tempo. But this with Ableton 11, it's so much easier. You can just basically, what I'll do is I'm going to copy this click track. So I'm just going to hit Command C, and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to paste it in this new temp track. So for tempo. So I'm going to line it right up on the grid where that was at. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn I'll actually turn the activation button on this whole channel off because I don't want this click track to go anywhere. I'm just using it as a dummy track. You can actually even double click here and turn the gain all the way down to nothing, because all we want is a wave file in there that's exact same length. So now what we're going to do is double click on that again, and it brings up over here, and we're going to change the warp to Complex Pro, and we're going to go follow. And then we're going to, and right here on BPM, we're going to set that BPM to what the song is. But since I copied the click audio file, it already has that BPM set in there. So it's already at 115. So now you can see my tempo for Ableton is 126. So I started back here, it's going to stay 126 until it hits this wave file, which is not making any noise at all because I have it off here and I have the gain all the way off. So tempo is 126, still 126, and song starts, it just changed to 115.
Intro, breakdown, 3, 4.
So hope that helps. Now we can go and grab another song and we'll automate that tempo so when it comes out to here. So I'm going to go back over here and say, okay, so Uptown Funk. Let's see where Uptown Funk ends.
N, 2, 3, 4.
And I want the next song to start right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and I'm actually going to cut off some of this stuff. So, because I want this to go bam, 2, 3, 4, bam, into the next song. So I'm going to take all this off because I can see right here is the end of that last song, Uptown Funk. So what I'm doing right here to move the grid back and forth, if you're new to this, is basically if you come up here to this little ruler up here where it shows the minute markers, and if I scroll over it, I get a little hourglass. When I see that hourglass, if I press down on the mouse, I can pull down and it makes it bigger. If I pull up, it makes it smaller. You know, you get the idea. So I'm going to pull up, make that bigger, and I am going to remove all of this stuff that it's the end of Uptown Funk because I want that next song to start pretty close. So just got rid of all that. So now I'm going to lay that next song right up next to here. So it'll be basically bam, 1, 2, 3, 4, bam, into the next song. Okay. And so I'm going to hit tab key. I'm going to scroll back up to my tempo because I want that kind of up. When I move back over, I want to be able to know that I'm going to be able to drop it right back here on the count in. So I'm going to hit the tab key and I'm going to say, I'm going to go see, that was 115. I want something kind of close. Let's go to September because it's 126. It's not so much faster. So I'm going to click on September. That basically tells all of these clips in Ableton that each of these clips should be at 126. So I'm going to click on the stem closest to this far, right on the line of September, hold down Shift, click on the last one. So now I have them all highlighted, and I'm going to click on the count in without letting go, hit the tab key, and bring it over here and drop that count in right on the count in line, right next to where Uptown Funk ends. And then again, this is all kind of blurred out. Go over here and hit this little orange marker, activates this side, and now you can see. But now, right now, if I come over here and if I click on back here, my tempo is still 126,
2, 3, 4.
but it's going to start the next song at tempo 126.
Intro.
We don't want to do that. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to copy the click track of that song, hit Command C, make this bigger so it lines up right with this same thing. Click on the temp line, hit Command V, paste it in there, double click on the click, and you can see how it's kind of off the grid because it's the wrong tempo. And I'm going to click on warp, and it'll say, just say yes. And I'm going to click on Complex Pro and follow. Yeah, that's lead. It should be on follow. Oh, yeah, follow. So now, if I go over here and click back here,
10, 2, 3, 4.
did not do it. Try that again. Oh, did I change it? Hold on. That should be 126. So let me turn the warp off and try that again. All right, so now make that 126. Yeah. And that should be 115. All right, I'm looking really stupid right now because this isn't following like it's supposed to. Hold on. All right, so that was my problem, was this little, if I come over here and highlight this and click on Faith, you'll see that's 192, and this little orange button up here came on. That means it's following what's on this screen. So that's another thing. When you're back on here, not only you want to click here, but you also want to kill this orange button. So just turn all orange off. So now if we're back here, change the tempo to 126, back here, 115. So yeah. So anyhow, so now if I come over here, it's playing at 115 tempo. And it's gonna stop.
10, 2, 3, 4. Intro 2, 3, 4.
You get it? So now it changes tempo up here. The songs go together. You can even butt these up closer. Like, so if you wanted the song to even come up closer and you kind of, everyone in the band knew it, you could actually just take off the whole intro. But you can see now the problem with this Earth, Wind, and Fire song is it's around that tempo. It's not 126. It's around 126. So now to edit this, you wouldn't be editing it on the grid, because you can see the click, it kind of goes off the click, even though it's the
Intro.
It's the right time, and the click it's just still it varies. So you want to edit by the click. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this grid off. So if you right click anywhere in here, you can turn the grid off. And then since these are all the same thing, we're going to go over here and scroll all the way down to the bottom, hit down shift and click there. So now every track on September is highlighted, and we're actually going to take this, and I am going to be like, so we're going to go boom, 2, 3, 4, and then it'll go right into September. And you can see, so here's the click of September, which I took from there. So if I go down, scroll on here and hold here, you can see that little staple looking thing, which lets you butt that up to the click. So now we're going to butt that up to the click, and now I'm going to move that right over to where that song ended. So now it's going to come out of there.
10, 2, 3, 4. Intro 2, 3, 4. Drums in 2, 3, 4.
Anyhow, I hope that makes sense.
Intro 2, 3, 4.
And like I said, live you won't be hearing this click. That's just for your drummer, so I'll turn that click off. You'll be hearing this. So I hope that helps. Let's see if we got any. Someone on TikTok said, "Laugh out loud, I'm clueless." Well, keep watching every Wednesday, and you won't be clueless anymore. Mike's all sweet, nice. Anyhow, yeah, so I hope this is helping you guys out a little bit. I know it's really helping me out a lot, because I forgot about the little orange clicky thingamajig up here, because it's been a while since I've done this. And then again, if you're doing it this way, you can just move them over from there to here and do your set this way. The way we do it, like I showed you earlier, with each song having their own mix tracks, it's a little more little more entailed to get into, and in other nights I'll get into that. But this way works the same way. Now the same thing. You don't want to mix your tracks from over here. You just don't want to leave these all around. I mean, all but the exact same number, whatever number you're comfortable with leaving them at. Usually I leave them, minus 12 somewhere on there. But like say if you come out here and say, okay, on September, I'm coming out of. I'm going to turn these vocals off so we don't get too many copyright infringements. But so I'm say we're coming out of the keyboard for here. And you hear that keyboard on Uptown Funk You Up. But we get to September, and you can see the keyboard's a lot lower in volume. If you're doing it this way, then just double click on that and bring this gain up right here. And even if you're seeing it down here where it goes past the line, it ain't gonna matter, Or you can also, do it by put the gain back. You can also click on the clip. These are called the clips, individual clip, and go up here and press the little button here. And if I go down here to envelope, then I can have to have the warp on. So I'll turn the warp on. Yeah, warp it. And the envelope. Now I can go over here and click on mixer and track volume. Oh, that's pan, so I want to go to track volume, and I can actually, if I take the key, that thing off, you see this little blue line? That's track volume. So if I hold down shift, it won't put a little marker there. I can actually just move the whole track volume up or down. So I hope that makes sense. So you can mix it two different ways. The easiest way though is to, I'm going to undo, is just to come over here and mix it by the gain. Unless you want to automate it, then you can do the whole track volume thing. But anyhow, I hope that makes sense. Do you guys have any questions anywhere? I know that I can't see what your name is. He says, I'm clueless, but that's fine. You're doing good. Just keep following along over on TikTok. I'm looking at my phone down here on TikTok. All right, I got to have another drink of this awful drink. There's something Alicia got from Sprouts. It's called Kin. And it's supposed to have alcohol in it, but it mainly tastes like gasoline. So with some like passion fruit kind of thing in it. So anyhow, I don't know. But it's not too bad. Let's see if we have any other questions going on. I can't tell. I got to look something up real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go over here and... That's not it. But it's not too bad. Let's see if... Sorry, I had to check and see if that's still streaming. All right. So anyhow, yeah. So I don't know if that helps you guys out or not, but let me know in the comments. Let me get this out of the way, and we'll come back like next Wednesday and do some more. And if you have any questions, make sure you're here and ask me in the comments. Mike, Jack and Coke. You watch this whole thing, dude. You're like the only guy over there on Facebook, I think, watching it. But I appreciate it. But no, it's not Jack and Coke, but it should be. Of course, I can't really drink hard. I mean, anything besides vodka. Because I'll tell you, when I was younger, I started touring when I was like 14. With we had a little hit song in the band I was in on MTV and that kind of stuff. And the main drink when you think you're a rock star is Jack Daniels. So I would drink Jack Daniels from the age of 14 to the age of like 17 exclusively, because that's what all the rock stars drank. So now there's the smell of any kind of like Jack or whiskey. I just can't do it. It has to be pretty much vodka. And I did have a Jack and Coke the other day. It wasn't bad. And yeah, pretty much vodka and rum. That's about all I can drink. And it's got to be real chick drinks type stuff, you know. And beer. I can drink a lot of beer. Excuse me while I keep burping the microphone. But anyhow, so I'm gonna do this again next Wednesday. And next Wednesday I'll kind of bring in to kind of show you how we pocket these songs. If I go over here and don't save. How we pocket these songs. Like I said, this is how we play, and I actually pocket. I call it pocket. I actually put these like here's Blonde Ambition. So here's all the tracks for Blonde Ambition. Some of these tracks we don't use, but I have them all in there anyhow, and they're in little segments. And what I do is I have them over here, so I can actually go over here and say, okay, so say I want Mr. Las Vegas in the set. Now I can just go over here and say, okay, I already have it. I already have the tempo mapped. And let me close Blonde Ambition. And I already have it mixed the way we want to mix it for live. I can just take it in here and grab the, not that. I can grab the, or actually A Strange Beautiful. Let's grab that. Drag it over here and drop it. And boom, now it's all already in there, and all I have to do is go back. So here's where did I drop at? Hold on, I dropped it somewhere. Oh, go up to the top. Well, I messed that up. Anyhow, it's been a while. So you drag and drop it over there and move it down to the timeline where you want it at, and then it all pockets that exactly where you want it at. And then it basically just shows a whole little thing like this. You move it down to where you want it at, line it up, and then you're good to go. I'd like to see how you're set up. I'd like to see. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Set. Oh, how you're setting up video. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? If you go to, do you have TikTok? If you're on TikTok, go jump on TikTok on Fans of Jimmy Century's live stream, because I'm going to grab the phone that was actually doing it and show everyone how I set up the video right now. I'm going to stop the live stream over here on the other ones right now. And we'll be back next Wednesday. But I'm going to grab the TikTok and show you how we have this all set up. So if you're on TikTok, go over to TikTok and go to Fans of Jimmy Century on TikTok right now. Everyone else, we'll see you next Wednesday as far as my tutorial stuff. But the band will be live streaming soon. Me and Alicia will be doing live streaming some. We live stream pretty much every night on TikTok, but on Facebook and YouTube, we'll be doing some music stuff probably tomorrow, I think. Maybe not tomorrow. I can't remember. Alicia's got it calendared out. And I don't know if Mike will be here or not, but even if Mike's not, me and Alicia will be doing some stuff. And then I know at some point in time, I think Thursday, Mike will be here with us playing drums. So you guys that's not on TikTok, we'll see you later. And on TikTok, I'm going to show you how I have this set up. So bye, everyone else, until next Wednesday for tutorial time.